Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with some of my fellow admissions ambassadors. So we're just going to introduce ourselves, and then we'll answer questions that you guys send in to us. So first off, I'm Caitlin. I'm a sophomore. I'm a business major. I specifically study supply chain management and marketing, and I'm originally from Philly.
Hi guys, I'm Corey. I am a junior at Duquesne. I'm an environmental science major, and I'm originally from Philly as well.
Hi guys, my name is Brett. I'm a senior health science major at Duquesne, and I'm from Lancaster, PA.
Hey you guys, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a sophomore speech language pathology major with a minor in special education, and I'm from about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay, so just to get us started with like an easy one to ease us in, why did you guys all choose Duquesne?
So I choose Duquesne halfway through my first tour of Duquesne, and I picked it mainly because of the science programs that Duquesne had, as well as I just fell in love with the campus and where it was located in the city.
Yeah, growing up in Pittsburgh my whole life, I had no clue like where Duquesne was even in Pittsburgh. And that says a lot about Duquesne's location. It's kind of up on a hill within the city. So you're like a 5-minute walk away from anything in the city, but you definitely have like this private campus life, which is awesome and something that I loved a lot because I was looking for kind of both a city and a campus feel, and you don't find that really anywhere else. But for my personal program, and if you're looking to be in health sciences, Duquesne has some of the best health science programs where for me, I was able to be directly admitted to not only get my bachelor's in health sciences, but also to get my master's. So I only needed to go to one school, one and done all the way through, and I would get to graduate with 2 degrees. That was really important to me. And I also mentioned that I grew up about 20 minutes away from Duquesne. So it was super important for me to be able to study something close to my heart, close to people who inspired me to study that. So that was huge for me about Duquesne.
For me, what it was, I definitely, like Elizabeth said, I wanted a school that was in the city, but also had that campus feel to it. And the moment I stepped onto like the campus of Duquesne, like for my tour, I kind of like fell in love with the whole campus feel. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small. It was kind of like that perfect fit for me. And being out in Pittsburgh, like you have so many different opportunities. The hospital is out there. I got to do a couple clinicals, got to work at like Children's Hospital and stuff like that. So that was a big thing for me, and I knew Duquesne would provide that for me through my schooling.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very similar. As soon as I stepped on the campus, I kind of knew that I wanted to go to Duquesne, and the business school has a great reputation, so that definitely helped. Okay, so going back to like freshman year, what's like something that you guys did or like you couldn't live without or something that made your transition into college like way easier?
So for me, the transition was relatively easy, like social wise. My hardest part was definitely academic wise. So one thing that I found relatively quickly was the learning center that we have at Duquesne. So it's like free tutoring for all students. And that really helped me out freshman year. That definitely like kept me on track because the beginning of my first semester was very difficult.
For me, I guess looking back 4 years for my transition, going into my freshman year, I think the easiest thing for me was our orientation program. All new students come a week early before starting classes and stuff, and it was just a very easy transition. I didn't know anybody coming from my high school to Duquesne, so it was kind of like restarting over, but that transition was super easy. And I also got involved with it for my sophomore, junior, and senior year. So I've had such a love for the program. So I think that was the easiest thing for me coming to Duquesne.
I agree, actually, completely. The orientation week is right before classes start. So that was something super like important for me. And I got to meet a lot of the people that I ended up being super close friends with at that time because I am such a people person. I definitely thrive off of human interaction, which is really hard right now, but we're doing great. And I think that that was probably the biggest change for me and something that um, it was really helpful at Duquesne because you run into people all the time, which was something that I needed. But I also had a really great group of friends coming in. I mean, I had a bunch of people from my high school who were also going to Duquesne. So I was able to avoid them if I wanted to, but also see them if I wanted to. And my roommate was a big part of moving in. We didn't know each other beforehand, but really quickly she kind of became like a sister in a way that was really helpful for that transition.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I actually met my two best friends that like I literally can't live without. I met them during orientation week. We're still super good friends. And then also I would just say like what helped me is just joining clubs because I know it's like awkward to like go somewhere with people you barely know and just like put yourself out there, but it helps so much because then after like the club meeting you can either get like dinner beforehand or afterhand and then it just kind of turns into like more of like a friendship and then good to go. Okay, so now we're going to be answering some questions about like general, like the first year transition. I know we kind of just did. And for certain majors, is there a good or specific laptop to have? Just as a business major, I would say I have a Mac and I pretty much regret it because I can't use any of the business software on my Mac. So if you're a business, probably don't get a Mac.
The computer store that we have on campus, Duquesne offers both Dell and Mac products. I know that I went the Dell route because it doesn't seem as fragile and I break things super easily. But for health sciences, eventually I'll be in clinical. So my computer actually has a touch screen and I can like fold it over. So it's like a tablet, I guess. And so I can actually write and take notes for my clinicals on my computer as well as use everything else. I mean, I don't know if I can, but I can't like text on my computer, but that's fine because I have a phone for that. So I would say whatever works best for your program, and you can definitely ask about that. But I think Caitlin kind of mentioned like in the business program, maybe you'd want to go with Dell. In health sciences, I know that there are different computers that will work for each, but I like my computer, so I recommend that.
And I know for the I know for the natural and environmental sciences, it does not matter which one you pick. Um, I have an iPad, and I also have like a Dell laptop as well, and I use both of them. I just like really depends on like what I'm feeling that day. And then I know pharmacy specific, you do have to have Apple products like an iPad once you get into your professional phase.
I was gonna say my biggest regret probably was not getting like an iPad with like the Apple Pencil and stuff like Corey said. Just because everyone seems to be taking notes like that nowadays, and it's just easier when you're in the classroom because you can actually like record certain points of the lecture. Just make sure you ask your professors if you can record them. But yeah, I wish I would have got that. I have a Mac, but it's helped me out. But definitely wish I would have got the iPad.
I think it depends on what kind of note taker you are, if you plan on typing your notes or writing your notes, if you want to do paper or iPad, but whatever works for you works for Duquesne.
Okay, so our next question is kind of like a two-parter. What jobs are available on campus, and can you start working as soon as fall semester freshman year?
Well, being a student ambassador, a tour guide, that is a job on campus. So it's not a work study job. So it is work study, but it's also not. So if you do qualify for work study, you can still apply for it. But if not, you can also work in the admissions office for that. But there's so many jobs on campus. You can work in the dining hall. You can be a desk aide, work in the library, different departments and stuff like that. And yeah, you can start as early as freshman year. I started being a tour guide my second semester of freshman year, and I've done it all the way up to my senior year. So
I know if like athletics is something you did in high school and maybe you're not doing that in college, but you still want to be involved, you can work at our student power center and also referee some of the games. I did not do sports in high school, so that was not something I was looking for. But also being so close to the city, there are opportunities to get jobs really, really close to campus. That's great for your own program, but it's also great because you can work at a restaurant that's around the corner. I would just take your own time management into consideration whenever thinking about a job. For work study, you can only work a certain number of hours a week, which I believe is 11, and you can get paid for that. But otherwise, I know I've always worked, so I always wanted to work, and sometimes that put me in a bit of a pickle with trying to balance everything. So being able to take on a job is something that you can do, but you need to know yourself well enough to kind of be put in that situation because school is your first job.
Okay, so the next question is, after I put my deposit down, what are my next steps? I would say create your multi-pass, which is kind of like how you access everything in the Duquesne world. And going along with that, I would set up your Duquesne email. Okay, so the next question is, can you double major within the business and liberal arts school? So I guess this applies to me. Yes, you can. I have friends who are like, I don't even know, marketing, and then there are minors in PR, which crosses between both schools. It's fairly easy to. You just have to make sure that you get all of the like required classes for each school covered, but our advisors are super helpful with that, and they'll make sure that you take all the classes that you need. The next question also relates to me, sorry. It says, what are the classes like in the business school? So they're really fun and great. I love being a business student. But the main class that sticks out to me freshman year that you're going to take is called First Year Innovation. This class, basically every 2 weeks you switch disciplines within the business school. So you'll do 2 weeks of marketing, 2 weeks of supply chain, 2 weeks of finance, 2 weeks of accounting, all across the board, which is really great because if you came in and you don't know what major you want, or if you want a double major or major minor, it gives you the opportunity to test everything out. That's actually how I picked up my second major, supply chain management. I had not even heard of it before I came to Duquesne. So yeah, but definitely it is an adjustment. I'm sure all the other majors can say the same. For freshman year fall semester is definitely a big adjustment from high school, but it's definitely manageable. It's all about time management. All right. So what's our average class size?
28, can go up to 35 as well. Relatively smaller sizes, which is nice because it gives you more of like that high school feel, but slightly larger. So it's not like a huge adjustment.
Is it easy to get around campus?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably, the furthest building from the dorms is like a 10 to 12 minute walk. All the other buildings, less than 5 minutes. So really good if it's like raining or snowing, you don't have to walk super far. But it is a little bit confusing at first, like some of the buildings at Duquesne. You never really come in on the first floor of any building. It's always like the 5th or 6th. So it can be a little bit confusing figuring that out. But once you have it down, it's really easy to get around campus.
I'm really short and I made it to my furthest class in like 8 minutes. So you can do it too. We're a bit of a hilly campus. We do have some hills throughout, but ultimately it's just one big circle, and you can get everywhere really easily, and it'll also keep you moving. So it's kind of like you're getting your own workout, like to and from classes. So the freshman 15 has nothing on our campus.
Okay, so now we're moving into some COVID-19 related questions. How is this pandemic affecting the fall semester? As of right now, it's a fluid situation. Hopefully it doesn't affect our fall semester, but we just kind of have to ride it out and see how it goes. So now we're moving into housing. So are there any singles in the freshman buildings?
Yes, I know that I've had some friends live in Martins that have had singles. It's just you have to pay a little bit more.
There's singles, doubles, triples, and quads. From what I know and from what I've seen. Now, as the number of people you live with goes up, the price of your room and board goes down, which is for freshman and sophomore year, however long you choose to live on campus. Starting your sophomore year, there are other options where you could live with like 6 people or 9 people in a suite. But starting your freshman year, those are the options you have between like by yourself and with 4 other people or 3 other people. And that's awesome because that does allow you to have a bit of community, and it teaches you a lot about yourself. So if you're on the fence about living by yourself or living with other people, I always highly recommend to live with other people because you get a really awesome learning experience that way. But if you do choose to live by yourself for any health reasons, any personal reasons, that's okay. And you're going to be surrounded by people on your floor still. So you're not going to be all by yourself all the time, but you will have like your own personal space.
Okay, so the next question is, can freshmen live in towers, or are they only allowed to live in St. Anne's?
So they do have some freshmen living in towers, right? Well, this past year we did. They are like playing around with some of the housing and stuff, like St. Martin's is supposed to get renovated. So I'm sure that since lots of students can't be living in St. Martin's, they're going to have them living in towers, St. Anne's and stuff. So freshmen can live in towers, St. Anne's, Assumption. Those are the only ones that we kind of know about right now. So
this is kind of just like everyone's own opinion. How was your experience living on campus and living specifically in the dorms?
I personally had a great experience. I lived in St. Anne's, and I went in with a random roommate, and he's now still my best friend. We live together still in like a house in Southside, so like off campus now, and we plan to continue to live again in the future as well. But going back to like the dorms, I met a ton of my like friends other than him as well. There was just like a big sense of community, like within your floors or your building. You get to meet a lot of new people and really see like who you connect with.
I lived in St. Martin's, so I just lived with one other person, but living in Martin's, like those freshman type dorms, you just get to meet so many other people like throughout the whole building. Like I met so many of my best friends my freshman year, and I'm still best friends with them today. So actually, like now, like that I'm a senior, and when I was giving tours on campus and I would walk over towards the freshman side of campus, I would actually like miss the freshman dorms because it was just that freshman year experience. It was just all new and it was so much fun and stuff. And then my sophomore year, I actually lived in a 6-person suite, and then I lived the whole way up until my junior year on campus. So my senior year, I moved off campus. I liked living off campus, learned a lot of responsibilities, but I definitely did miss campus living. It was just a lot easier. Like you didn't have to cook for yourself. Everything was just so convenient, whereas like I had to drive back and forth to campus if I like forgot something. So if I had the choice, I would honestly live on campus all 4 years. There's like apartments and stuff that you can live in as well going up to your senior year. But living off campus, I think I learned a lot of good skills for when I graduate. So
No, I had basically the same living situation as Brett did. I lived in Martin's my freshman year, and I loved it, and I miss it so, so much. And then I ended up doing group housing where myself and a group of about like 25 other girls got together, and we lived on a wing in Towers for group housing my sophomore year, which was great. I basically got to live on a floor of all my really good friends, and we had our own little area as well. And also, we were on the 17th floor, which is the top floor, so we called it the penthouse.
Do you have to live with a student, like freshman year, do you have to live with someone who's in the same school of study as you? For that, you don't. You can live with whoever. I did live with someone my freshman year who was a business major as well. It was really helpful for like doing homework and classes and stuff, but at the same time, I know a ton of people who didn't do that. Sophomore year, my roommate was an athletic trainer major, and I'm a business major, so it just depends on who you meet and who you want to live with. Okay, so how did you guys find/choose your roommate?
So like I said earlier, I did random and I like lucked out with that, but there's also other, so you could fill out like a survey online, like based off your like lifestyle choices, to like matches you like that. Otherwise you could also like, once you're accepted, join the Facebook page and then meet someone through that. And then you could also, if you know somebody going to Duquesne, you could request to live with them.
Yeah, I met someone through the Facebook page. It worked out great, so it just kind of depends. And then the survey that Corey was talking about, it's called My College Roomie. So just look for that if that comes up in your email.
yeah, I also did the Facebook page like Caitlin did. Same thing. We're not like super close. Like we were freshman year, we just grew apart. But like I lived the whole time with him, and it was great with that. So.
And then also freshman year, it helps. You have to fill out, it's called a housing agreement, where it's basically just like a little contract between you and your roommate. So you fill it out at the beginning when like everything is all good and well. So if anything ever escalated where, you know, you guys might be fighting or like something wasn't quite going as planned, you already have like your little contract or like agreement and rules down. So it's a really good way to like solve problems. Do rooms have lock boxes?
No, rooms don't have lock boxes. If you do want to bring like your own safe, that's up to you, but they don't come with it. Honestly, you get a key for your room and stuff as well too, so you can lock it. We always left our door unlocked. That was just what we did, but it is up to you if you want to bring that lock box on.
Okay, so now we're moving into like diversity on campus. So how diverse is your campus? So we have tons of different students from all over. So we're very diverse. We also have tons of different like clubs and organizations on campus, over 200. So you can get involved in anything. And if there's not a club with something you want to do, you can start it. It's super easy. So yeah, there's tons of different ways to get involved that way.
Yeah, and also just to add too, is like I recently this past last year and the past couple semesters, I started my own club, and it's to like further Hispanics in science fields. I started that with one of my advisors in the Bayer School, which is one of our main science buildings, and that has like really brought me together with a bunch of people from like diverse backgrounds as well. And then there are tons of other clubs like Black Student Union, Puerto Rican Student Association, Latin American Student Association. Tons of other organizations like that as well.
Also, like the first semester, like in the fall semester, it's like the second week of classes. They do a big student expo out on Academic Walk, and all those clubs will have tables out there, so you can definitely go to each table that you're interested in, check out some new ones, and you'll get a good sense of like the like life on campus and like the different activities and stuff that you can join. So it's a good way to get involved.
Okay, so now we're moving on to like campus life and Pittsburgh, kind of just the city in general. So are sports a big deal on your campus? Do a lot of people attend the games? Like, what's the student section like? Just personally, freshman year, I joined the Red and Blue Crew, which is our student section club on campus. It's really fun. You pay like, I think it's like $20, and you get a t-shirt, and you get access to all of our games, like in a really good spot. So we were always like, for basketball, we were like right behind the net. It's free admission for all students to get into any game, but if you're in the Red and Blue Crew, you get like the preferred seating, which is cool. Also, they have like tailgates before and after the games, so you're able to like get all that food, which is really cool. So I did go to a lot of the sports games freshman year. I really enjoyed it. I played sports in high school, so I was really excited to go see them because we are D1 for all of our sports.
I would just also say in general, like sports are definitely a big thing in Pittsburgh. We have the PPG Paints Arena right across the street from Duquesne, where our teams also play there as well, but also the Pittsburgh Penguins. I had a ton of fun going to like my first hockey game there with a bunch of my friends. And then as well, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pirates, really easy to get to their stadiums as well. And then tons of people like to go to their games.
And then like with the Pens games, we do get student rush tickets. So if you don't like hockey, you'll definitely be a hockey fan coming to Pittsburgh. But the tickets are like $25 for a Pens game, which you really can't beat. I definitely went to a couple of those throughout my years. And then when the Pens were like in the playoffs and stuff, they do like a big screening out on the TV out there. So everyone kind of just goes down there and watches the games as well too. So it is a big community for sports, like Corey said. So it's just everyone gets together. It's such a sports city in that sense. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also with like the Pirates and stuff, Duquesne always has a few like Duquesne nights where you'll get like a Duquesne t-shirt or a Pirates t-shirt. And the tickets are, I think this past year they were like $7. Yeah. So they're super cheap, and the Pirates Stadium is like beautiful. It's like where all the bridges overlap. So a lot of people end up going, and it's a really fun night. Okay, so the next question is, this person just said, I enjoyed playing basketball in high school. Is there intramural leagues? Can I play for fun, or do I have to play competitively?
Yeah, there are tons of intramural sports at Duquesne. Whether through it's like you could do it through like Greek life organizations, or you could do just like regular intramural sports as well. It's relatively competitive, obviously not as if you were going to play like D1 basketball, but it's a ton of fun. You could join a team with your friends, and it's like a really good time. Just a great way to like stay active too.
Okay, so someone just asked, is there a women's golf team? Unfortunately, we don't have a women's golf team, but hey, you could, if you find enough to field a team, you could probably start one. And there's, like Corey was kind of saying with the club sports, there's tons of club sports. So I'm sure if you like to golf, you may be able to find something else, or like I said, you could probably start your own. So it says, can you tell me more about campus life? How does the city influence campus life?
I've seen it definitely more like positively impact the campus, because one thing I was definitely worried about at first was like, oh, are people going to like stay on campus during the weekend? And a lot of people do stay on campus. I'd say probably the majority. There's tons of things to do around the city as well. Duquesne also has 3 buses that transport Duquesne students for free to 3 different places in the city. So like the Oakland/Pitt area, South Side, and the waterfront. Those are just 3 very common places for students to go, either go see movies, hang out with friends, or just go walk around the city.
So I think Duquesne's in a really awesome location. We also have something called the South Side Steps that connects our campus to the 10th Street Bridge. And once you go across the 10th Street Bridge, you're in the South Side, which is where a lot of our upperclassmen students live. It has really cool thrift stores. It has really, really good food, which is awesome. So that is really great. And I think I always recommend that every single student should use the South Side Steps at some point. 247 steps down. Then after you like stuff your face, then you get to walk 247 steps back up. So you definitely get the best of both worlds in that. So not only is there the downtown area that you can go in Market Square, especially in the wintertime, PPG has an ice skating rink during like the Christmas season, which is awesome. But you kind of are surrounded by all different areas, and there are like 6 different universities within the city of Pittsburgh. So there are definitely a lot of college students around as well.
And I also would just say, like, with Duquesne, like, they do have a very strong influence, like, in the community around the Pittsburgh area, like, in the city and stuff. Lots of our organizations, like, you get to do volunteering and stuff throughout the city and stuff. So we have a strong connection with a lot of different companies and, like, just organizations off campus that if you do stuff like that in high school now, you can get involved with that as well.
So the next question is, when can you join Greek life, and can you tell me more about it? So I am in a sorority, and I know Brett and Coy are both in frats. So I don't know if it's the same for guys, but girls, you can rush starting spring semester of your freshman year, which I really like because it gives you a whole semester to just adjust to Duquesne, get used to the college life before you have to like make a commitment to an organization. Personally, I've had a great experience with Greek life. I have literally met like my best friends through Greek life. I'm living with my 2 closest friends next year. There's just so many volunteer opportunities. There's so much like events on campus that Greek sororities and fraternities sponsor. It just has really I think it's been impacted my Duquesne kind of experience really, really well.
I'll talk about mine a little bit. Yeah, it was probably one of the best decisions I've made at Duquesne. Just joining that organization, you just have like so many people you get to meet, and they become such like close friends with you. But it is a lot different from like bigger universities. We don't have like houses like with our Duquesne affiliated. Each fraternity and sorority actually has a wing and towers. So it's kind of cool. After you if you decide to join your second semester freshman year, you can actually live on the wing your sophomore year, which I know like a lot of people do that their sophomore year just because it definitely guarantees you housing in towers. And then you also get to live with like all your new friends and stuff that you make. But yeah, honestly, like you just do so much like different philanthropy work. All the Greek organizations are very close with each other. We do like carnival, Greek saying, stuff like that. So there's countless opportunities among Greek life. If you don't join Greek life, you're not going to miss out. I would say about like 30% of students are involved in Greek life. So it's not everybody, but if you're interested in it, definitely like check it out.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it as well. I've met a ton of people who I know I'm going to have like lifelong connections with, some of my best friends that I've met through it, as well as some like people who I definitely look up to and like strive to be like them, who have given me a really positive impact. So it's just like a great thing to be involved with.
I personally am not involved in Greek life, but I also want that to be something that I share because some people might not think that Greek life is for them. What I love about Duquesne's Greek life, even without being in it, is that I'm still friends with so many people who are in Greek life. Just because I chose to not get involved doesn't mean that I can't. I could join really any semester if I chose to get involved and go through recruitment that way. But there's also a bunch of other options like business sororities and fraternities, social sororities and fraternities, but also service. And GSS is one of the most popular service sororities that our campus has. So there's so many different opportunities, but just because you don't join Greek life, it doesn't mean you're not going to have a social life or you're going to be cut off from all of those friends. And it definitely is something that Duquesne is super welcoming for Greek life, but also to other students. And the Greek life is super open in that as well. So I want to reassure everyone in that. And I actually went through half of recruitment. So you can go and meet people and decide, you know what, maybe this isn't for me right now and come back to it later. So you are never going to be super set in stone. So you always have that option.
Yeah, and just to touch on like the professional fraternities and stuff. So I'm actually the vice president of a business fraternity on campus, Pi Sigma Epsilon. That has been a great networking opportunity, a great experience for myself. I have learned so much from like the speakers that we've had and just from other brothers that are in the fraternity. I've learned so much. But yeah, there's tons of different opportunities for a whole bunch of different types of Greek life. So our next question is there a women's lacrosse team? Yes, there is. Actually, my best friend I'm living with is the vice president of it, so that's pretty cool. Join it. They're fun. They travel on the weekends. The next question is, what is it like to attend college in Pittsburgh?
As a senior, like just reflecting on my experience, like it did get cut short, which sucked for me. But definitely what they say, like college is the best years of your life. Like I've definitely have made my lifelong friends at the school. I've gotten such a wonderful education and different opportunities through it. But like the city itself, just it offers you so much that like going in as a freshman, like it just starts, it's like very narrowed when you go in, and then when you like start going on throughout your years, it just becomes so much broader in the sense that you have all this stuff around you that you can do and experience. I can't really say anything else. It's been amazing. So
I have nothing but great things to say about Duquesne. I can't picture myself at any other school. Um, I feel like every aspect of it is amazing. Like the friends that I've made, the education that I'm getting, everything is just wonderful. So now we're gonna be moving on to dining. So just one question: is the food good? I'm gonna just go right off the bat and say we're ranked 17 in the nation for food. So yes, the food is good on campus. If anyone wants to elaborate.
so for me, whenever I give my tours, all the other tour guides make fun of me because I take the longest in the dining hall because I talk about food so much. But the food is really good. You do have a lot of different options on campus. There's 11 different dining options available. Hogan's, like, that's typical cafeteria style food that you get. But honestly, like being in Pittsburgh as well too, there's so many food options. I'm such a foodie. I love going out to eat and stuff. So if you can't find something on campus, you can definitely find stuff off campus as well. So most people go out to eat on the weekends. During the week, you usually eat on campus, but there's just an overwhelming amount of food. So you're not going to starve. So.
Yeah, I would just go off of that. I feel like there's something for everyone. My roommate this past year, she was like gluten-free, dairy-free. She had a whole bunch of allergies. She had no problem eating at the dining halls on campus. We have an app called Food You where you can just plug in like your allergies and it would just filter out exactly what she could eat, when she could eat it, what was open. You also can contact dining services and be like, hey, like I'm coming to the dining hall. Can you make sure that there's like gluten-free pasta or this? And they will completely have it for you. Um, that being said, the Food You app also, even if you don't have allergies, I still use it. It just shows you all the dining halls and what's open and what's being served. So before you even leave your room, you can just decide where you want to go. Also, a fun fact is we also have a Chick-fil-A on campus, which is great, and a Cinco Cantina, which is kind of like Chipotle. They both work on the meal plan, which is really cool. All right, cool. So we only have a few questions left. So someone said, what is something that you realized that you could not live without freshman year?
One thing, honestly, probably brought way too much clothing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clothes, but definitely like you during the week, you kind of like live in like lounge clothes, like athletic clothes and stuff. So you don't need to bring an overwhelming amount of clothes. What a good tip that you can do to like have storage space. Get like 2 big storage totes. This is what I did since I was like 4 hours away. And then you can like swap out your like fall, like summer, like spring type clothes, stuff like that. So it's not all in your like closet and stuff, and it gives you a little bit more space if you want to do that. So
Now I'm thinking about something that I use. So I got this like desk organizer thing that like it just like you put it on your desk and it like gives you shelves, and I use that so much because it freed up so much space on my desk because I don't know, I had like my makeup mirror and like my lamp and like all my school supplies and textbooks. So I was able to like raise it. So a lot of people can get something that goes over your desk or like over your bed. I use that a ton. Why did you choose Duquesne, which we kind of covered a little bit, and was it worth the price?
I'd say definitely. These past 3 years have been a great experience. I've been learning a ton in my major, and I plan to go forward for a 5th year for my master's program as well. So I definitely think the education from Duquesne is definitely worth it.
yeah, I mean, looking back, I definitely feel like I got a better education than maybe some other universities could have provided me, like just with the different opportunities and stuff. I mean, nowadays any school's expensive, but you're getting a good education and stuff at Duquesne. They provide you with so many resources, like with career development, job fairs and stuff beginning your freshman year. So I don't know. I've been like applying to jobs and stuff and been talking to people. So I definitely feel like having that Duquesne name it definitely means something. So
Yeah, definitely going off of what Brett said, I feel like our reputation just is like, it's very, people know that like they're getting a very well-rounded student when they come from Duquesne. And just like in the business world, the alumni connections, and like for anyone, like it's crazy how many people for like internships and just like interviews that I've gone on that are like, oh, Duquesne, I went there. And it's just like, it's crazy how many people like, oh, Duquesne, like my husband or my wife went there. Like it's crazy how many people know about it. So yeah, I definitely say it's worth the price.
That's a big question because I am paying for my own college experience.
Me too.
I know that cost is definitely something really, really big whenever you're considering schools. And as much as you love something, you want to make sure it's worth it. I am so excited that I picked Duquesne. I think that the cost is completely worth it for everything that I'm going to get to experience, not only specifically in my major, but all the opportunities that Duquesne has. I'm going to make the money back. Like I will make the money back, and that is something that's so, so exciting. And Duquesne's name, just as they were mentioning whenever I was hopping back on, people will hire you because you went to Duquesne. People know that Duquesne produces great workers and people with great work ethic and who really love what they're doing. And I think that people are going to gravitate towards that in your job search, which is super, super important. But I really do think that my choice to come to Duquesne, even with the cost, is something that I'm really, really happy about. And Duquesne does a great job with offering scholarships to students. Every single student will be offered scholarships, and you can continue to apply each year, which is really great as well. So that's definitely helpful. It's a good factor to consider, but it's worth it.
Our last question is, what's the process of becoming an ambassador, and like how has it helped your career in college? So we were tour guides, so you had to apply and kind of go through an interview process, but now we're ambassadors. Someone else can answer more, sorry.
Yeah, so I guess for me, like since I've been doing it since my freshman year, I was a tour guide for like 3 years, but overall it's just has helped me out as a person. I was horrible at public speaking in high school. I could never go up and give like a presentation on like any like PowerPoint or anything. I would just like choke up and stuff. And doing that freshman year, I was like, I want to do something that like will help out my public speaking. I never took a public speaking class, but this has helped out so much. It's helped me meet so many people. Like all of us go on campus and we'll be giving a tour, and all of our friends will definitely say hi, and like so many of like the admissions people, like employees and stuff know us. So it just gives you a good reputation with that. Looks really good on your resume. People like to see that you were a tour guide for your campus because it just shows how much you cared about your university and stuff. So I would say if you're definitely interested in doing it, apply. They always hire people every year just because like seniors come and go and stuff, and other people get busy with schedules. So I would say overall, that was another big thing that I love that I joined. So
Each school has ambassadors, so I actually am an ambassador for the business school as well. So that's given me great opportunities too. I know education has ambassadors. I'm sure the health sciences do too. So even if you don't necessarily get admissions, you could definitely try within your major, which is really cool. And how that kind of works is you kind of either get recommended by like I got recommended by my boss, but you can get recommended by a professor or maybe someone in a club that you're in, something like that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys learned a lot about Duquesne. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to admissions. Thanks, guys.
thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.